but I will say that I enjoy the spice. I think the spice was really good in this book. Oh, that one's a good one. This one says, do people remember the exact moment they fall in love? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing a January wrap-up and a February TBR pot. Everyone has done TBR jars, but I had a pot laying around, so I decided to kind of paint it and make it into my TBR pot, but it's basically the same concept. I have TBR prompts in here, and I'm going to be picking to get the books that I'm going to be reading for the month of February. This is actually going to be my first wrap up and TBR video, so I am super excited for that. So if you're interested, please keep on watching and let's get started. For the month of January, I actually read 3 books. When I first started reading back in 2021, I think it was, I was very much into reading a little bit more. I was very motivated. Like, I would read a physical book in like 4 days. But now I feel like I've really slowed down on my motivation to read. I don't really think it's a slump. It's just slowed down a bit, and I don't really have the motivation to read as much as I did before. Now, usually the amount of books that I read a month is honestly between 1 to 4, and if it's like a really good month, then like top 6. But this month I'm very proud of myself because I finished all 3 of the books in 1 month, and I haven't started another one until February. So let's get into my wrap up and the books that I read for this month. So the first book that I read this month was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I was super excited to get into this book. I've seen it a lot on Book Talk. A lot of people love it. I actually gave this book a 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think it's like an in-between, like either you like it or you don't. And I feel like I did like it, but I wouldn't say that I loved it. I love how we get both ice skating and ice hockey. I think that was really entertaining for the most part. But I think at the beginning, I wasn't really pulled into the story with the characters themselves, but I will say that throughout the story I did kind of learn to like them as a whole. Like, thinking about the book, I just feel like I didn't gravitate towards them like completely as characters, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoyed the aspects of seeing them together and seeing their different personalities and how much they cared for each other, but as a whole they didn't excite me, I guess. But I will say that I enjoyed the spice. I think the spice was really good in this book. So I feel like maybe I didn't love it, but I could understand why some people did. It definitely has the humor, the romance, the banter that a lot of people would enjoy. And I'm definitely interested in continuing the second book, Wildfire, because a lot of people say that one is good as well. So I'm super excited to get into that one. But yeah, this was the first book of the month. This was the second book that I read. This is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, and I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I actually got this book from my sister. She read it and she thought it was a really good book, so she let me borrow it, and it was actually on my TBR for a long time, and I finally picked it up this month. My favorite thing is the cover. I definitely see the meaning behind the cover, so I really like that. I have the physical book, but I was in between, so I heard the audio as well. I think maybe the audio affected the way that things were perceived in the story, because I felt like at some points I was very confused. And that might be my fault too, because I had my audio on like the highest speed so that I could finish it quicker. So I feel like that definitely affected the way that I translated or interpreted the story. So I do want to give it another go. But for the most part, I feel like I enjoyed the mystery elements of the story. I think it was very mysterious. It gave kind of that fantasy, mystery, horror-like vibe to it. So I really enjoyed that. I just felt like I was very confused at certain points. I felt like my attention just wasn't grabbed from the beginning. And again, maybe it had to do with me hearing the audio instead of physically reading it. But I still do think this is a really good story, as well as like the first one. I feel like I understand why people like this book as well. But nonetheless, I really did enjoy the story, the 3 sisters. I felt like some parts were a little weird, but honestly, I feel like that's just definitely the feel of a mystery horror type book. But yeah, this was the second book of the month. And then lastly, my third book of the month was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This one was recommended by a friend because on Instagram I did the template that some people have been doing of 12 friends recommending 12 books, and I've been doing it like choosing one book for each month. So the first book that I did for that was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I actually rated this one 4 stars, and I feel like it's very hard to rate memoirs. It's a real life memoir, like a real life event, real life story that's happened. But if I had to go just based on the story itself and the writing style, then I would give it a 4 stars. I feel like the story was a really beautiful, well-written story. I feel like you really got the emotional and sentimental side of it, but you also got like the frustrating and anger bit of it as well. I feel like she wrote her story in a way where everything was written with love, if that makes sense. Like, even if her parents were selfish or did these certain things that affected her and her siblings, she was able to display them in a way that had no hate or anger, but instead love. Because I just feel like that shows like just the love and heart that she had no matter what came her way. But I was frustrated and angry with her parents, that I felt like it was hard to get through it at some points. But I think the way that she wrote it made it easier to get through it as well. So I really liked how it ended and the way that she turned out to be happy with herself and her siblings. But I just really liked the resilience, the love that she had for her siblings and her parents, despite everything. But it was a very different read for me. I feel like it's actually the first memoir that I've read this year. I'm really trying to open up the genres that I get into. So I really like this concept of having recommendations. So yeah, this was the third and final read of the month. As a recap, these were the 2 books in physical form, and then I read The Glass Castle. So now we're gonna be moving to the TBR pod. So I've basically put in a couple prompts. It's really not that much, but I got quite a few, and right before this video I put a little bit more. So this is my TBR shelf. I didn't count how much I had, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, so I have 27 books on my TBR. That's actually a lot. I hadn't counted it until now. And I think I'm gonna pull out 6 prompts, so 6 books around there. I think 6 is a good option in case I want some options, or if by some miracle I do make it to read all 6. Okay, so we're gonna pull out the first prompt. I'm so excited because I haven't started reading anything because I wanted to do this video. Oh my god. Okay, so I pulled one out. Oh my god. A book with a great first line. Oh my god, that means I have to look through each book. I'm so lazy. I'm just gonna choose randomly to see. I want to read this one so bad. I'm just choosing randomly and we're gonna see. Okay, maybe. Oh, that one's a good one. This one says, do people remember the exact moment they fall in love? This one. Oh, if I leave this house, it will be in handcuffs. That one's a really good one too. This one too. Oh, the murders took place on a hot summer night, but to Juniper, it would always be winter in Jericho. So I don't want to pull out each book because I feel like we'll be here forever, but the ones that I have pulled out, I'm liking this one, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. That one really grabbed me. Maybe because I'm a romantic at heart. So do people remember the exact moment they fall in love? Really just grabbed me. So honestly, I think I'm going to do this one. Oh my god, I'm really excited. This one has been on my TBR for a while too. And this one says, emotional, raw, real, and addictively delicious. And honestly, the cover is stunning. This is my first pick for February. I'm really excited. Okay, so we're going in with the second prompt. Oh my god. Let me shake it up a little bit. Okay. Ooh, I'm scared. Ooh, a book in a series. I don't think I have a lot of books in a series. The only ones I can really think of is King of Greed by Anna Huang and Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I know this one is the first book in that series, and then this one is the third one, which I've also been dying to read. I'm gonna go with King of Greed by Anna Huang. This one I've actually had for a while now. I bought the Walmart edition that had like illustrated art in it, which is so beautiful. It's so pretty. So I'm definitely gonna go in this one because I know the fourth one is coming out in April, so I feel like it's a good time to kind of finish reading this one before I get into the fourth one, if that makes sense. And this one seems like it's gonna be like a really good marriage reconciliation from what I've read in the last two books. So yeah, this is our second pick for the month. I mean, for February. We're gonna go in with our third pick. Just gotta shake it up a bit. Okay. This one says, oh, a book with flowers, trees, or leaves on the cover. Oh, that's gonna be hard. I don't know if I have a lot. This one has like a branch, which doesn't have any flowers on it. This one's the city. It's a girl. Okay, so Nora Roberts has some flowers in it. Another Nora Roberts has leaves on it. This one, oh, this one has leaves on it. This one also has plants. I guess that kind of counts. Oh, this one's upside down. This one. This is a hard pick. We have two Nora Roberts books. So we have The Next Always, and then we have Western Skies. Then we have The 7-Year Slip, which I've been dying to read, and people have been raving about this one so bad that I need to read it soon. Then we have, wait for it, has cactus plants, so I think that counts. And then we have The Heart of the Raven Prince. I think I'm stuck between The 7-Year Slip and The Heart of the Raven Prince. I think I'm gonna go with The 7-Year Slip because my heart is just dying to read this the minute I got it, and for some reason I just have it. So I think I'm gonna go with The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I've just heard so much about this one, and I loved The Dead Romantics, one of my favorite books ever, and this is her second book out. A gorgeous love story from one of the finest romance writers out there. Same place, different time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one. So this one's gonna be my third pick for February. Okay, so now we're going in with our fourth pick of the month of February. A book by an author you've never read before. I've read Abby Jimenez before, and that's about it. I haven't read anyone else. So I'm gonna go with the thriller or fantasy. Why did no one tell me this was gonna be the hardest thing ever? So I think I'm gonna go with Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart. And there's also a murder mystery. So I feel like this can be a little palette cleanser in between the romances that I've already picked. So this is our fourth pick for February. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm also gonna be starting ACOTAR. So I guess I'll have 7 picks from the month of February. ACOTAR was the pick for the friends recommendation template that I was doing for Instagram. So I'll also have that included for the month of February. Now we're going into our 5th pick. Okay, found one. This one is Book You Loved, Read It Again. Oh my god, so technically it's not even part of like this TBR shelf. It's a book that I loved, Read It Again. So there's actually been 2 books on my mind that I want to reread this year, and that's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood and Beach Read by Emily Henry. And I feel like I'm gravitating towards Beach Read by Emily Henry. It's one of the first books that I really loved, and that when I think about it, I'm like, I love them. Okay, so my 5th book is going to be Beach Read by Emily Henry. Technically, it's not a TBR book, but based on the TBR prompts, we're going to be reading this one again. This was when I first started annotating, but it was like in pencil and very random, so I'm hoping to properly annotate this one because I love them. This is one of my favorite books by her, and I know it's like very mixed reviews. Either you hate it or you love it, and I love it. So I'm super excited to have this as a read for February. So yeah, this is my 5th pick. So this is our last pick. Shake it up really well. See what we get. Okay. We have, ooh, your BFF chooses your book. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so I actually wrote a message in one of my group chats that I have with 4 friends, and one of them chose 1 book and another one chose 4 books that he thought were interesting. So I used a wheel generator with the 5 titles that they chose, and I actually screen recorded it, so I will insert that somewhere here so you guys can see. The pick was The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wyest, and I am super excited. It's actually funny, when the wheel was spinning, I was looking at it and it landed on here. I was like, I needed it. I definitely needed to read this book. This book was actually recommended by my therapist, and I got to page 46 and I never really went back to it, but I feel like this is the perfect time to get into this book, something that I feel like I really need right now. So I'm really excited that the wheel picked this as my last book. So these are officially the picks for February, including ACOTAR, so in total 7. And I just can't wait to get into these. I'm super excited. This was so much fun, and I cannot wait to do it again in March. February. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for staying tuned for my wrap up and my first TBR prompt jar pot picks for February. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.